Okay, everybody, it's Friday, December 8th, 2019. Here's what's going on right now. Stocks are under pressure yet again across the board. A lot of this is with regard to China. Nothing happening there, and we'll have to see how that plays out. But the other element here is we have a stock market that has been artificially propped up after it tried to correct in December, and that's a big issue. Let's put that into perspective because it's starting to get some airplay on the mainstream financial channels just this morning, early this morning. As most of you know already, unless you live under a rock, if you follow this at all, prior to the president issuing his buy recommendation in December, the stock market had fallen 5,000 points off of the high, referring to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. All the market was trying to do at that point was to determine fair value. It's the only job of the markets, all of them. If you continue to fake them and prop them up, all it does is create distortions that will correct over time. In December, a crime was committed. I don't know another way to put it, okay? When President Trump sent Mnuchin out to 6 Wall Street banks, the same banks that run the Fed, to get them in line, to make sure they were going to backstop this market, then the president came out and said, okay, everyone, time to buy stock. We had a V-shaped recovery, which has gone on until now. Again, and I covered this yesterday, our president has a fixation on the stock market, and it's going to cost him the trade war. Please watch the video that I did yesterday. You cannot have it both ways. Period. Very simple. If we're in a trade war, which we are, the stock market's going to take a hit. So China is going to take advantage of this unless the president decides to change his tune. I don't think he's going to. I asked him to call me yesterday. I'm still waiting for a phone call. So right now, the mainstream media is saying they are expecting, or they think it's likely, that stocks are going to retest their December lows. What does that mean? If that were to happen, it means everyone that bought stocks when the president said to buy them is going to lose money. Now this guy, as you are, or maybe well aware, I was featured on the front page of Market Watch, and I told people, I said, don't buy the dip here. Don't buy it. Well, if in fact this turns out to be true, that stocks retest those December lows, I would not be surprised if we break through it. The market is distorted beyond belief. It's the most fake market in the history of the financial markets. Way worse than Obama here. Now, in order for us to get a good deal here with regard to a China trade, our president has got to accept the fact that stocks have got to take a hit here. You cannot have, there's no way to balance this out. No amount of propping up, I don't believe. Maybe I could be wrong here because we've seen some amazing things over the years. But if in fact more distortions occur in this market by these 6 Wall Street banks propping up the stock market, all kinds of mechanisms to keep it inflated while we're in this trade war, it's only going to correct harder at one particular time. Look, the United States unfortunately enters in all kinds of wars that it never really wants to win. It just wants to drag them out for years, decades, and there's a whole mechanism behind that too. And maybe, I'm not really sure what's going on here with the trade war. It can be won. It can be won. I know I have said in the past there's degrees of losing. Yeah, that is really true. And the longer this drags out, the worse it will be. Any kind of a war has to be approached from the perspective that you need to attack with overwhelming force right at the beginning. Otherwise, these things drag out. And our president is not doing this. He keeps appeasing here. He keeps talking about how he respects President Xi. I understand the rhetoric here, but it's a war, Mr. President. Again, either don't dabble in it, win it. That's it. Or dabble in it and look like a buffoon. It's up to you, Mr. President. What do you want to do? I don't think you want to look like a buffoon. I think you want to win. That's what you always say. Win, win, win. We're going to get sick of winning. Well, I'd like us to win here, Mr. President. And again, I think, or at least I would hope you realize what you need to do. Anyway, so basically the premise of this video is this. If you're a trader and if you would have bought that dip, yeah, you would have done really well. I did not buy that dip, as most of you know. I got in towards the end. I still profited from it, but I could have made a lot more money. There's no doubt about it. I did not. I did not trust it. I didn't like the way it was set up. As a matter of fact, I was nauseated by the way it was set up. It's incredible. When a sitting president sends his Treasury Secretary out to the same banks that run the Fed and then issues a buy recommendation, it's a crime. It is a crime. True crime. So anyway, like I said here, let's see how this goes. Let's, maybe, and I would not be surprised to see us retest those December lows. And again, it's getting airplay on the mainstream financial channels. That's pretty interesting, because this guy, I warned about this back in December. Let's see if it happens. I'm not saying I want it to happen. Of course I don't. I don't want anyone to lose. But anyone that's in this market believing that this is real, that this market is, the valuations aren't off the Richter scale stupid, and it's just being faked day after day, well, then you're in la-la land and you deserve to lose. The propping up of this market it's a crime. It's a crime in progress right here. And again, our president has got to stop with his touting of the market, because again, if this market retests those December lows or goes through them, he will be crucified worse than he already is, because if he issued that buy recommendation. He's got to stay out of the market. Stay out of the market, Mr. President. Concentrate on being the president and not the cheerleader for Wall Street. You got it? You'll be a lot better off. With that said, I'll see all of you at the end of this lovely day.